and welcome to the Weekly Scroll podcast brought to you by the Adventure Archive. My name is Ryan.
I'm still Hunter.
And today we have with us Max Moon, friend of the show, Max Moon, second time. How's it going, Max?
Woo, applause.
Hi, doing well. It's thank you for having me on a second time. I appreciate it. It's always wonderful chatting with y'all.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're super happy to see you again. I mean, it's not like we didn't see you very, very recently.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, we're happy to have you on the show.
So what Hunter's talking about, and yeah, I can only imagine this won't be the last time. We three got together and played the intro adventure for the series we're talking about tonight, which is Abyss of Hallucinations. You have a project currently funding Volume 2, and we got to say the adventure super fucking fun.
Yeah,
it was
fun.
Just us
good,
three.
Weird, you know, good and weird and dark.
Yep. That's the most important stuff. And it was awesome to hang out with you kind of in this kind of setting, but not on the internet, which was really, really cool. So
we saw a lot of fucking curse words, bro.
It was also fun killing you. I really
yeah. How many times? I think did we only die once each?
you each died once, right?
But I lost an ear. I lost an ear on my second guy.
Yeah, you were down to 0.
I was down to 0, and completely lost an ear. Thank gosh for health elixirs. But yeah, super great fun. A lot of cool resources that are there for that, because I don't want to give a whole lot away, but there's a really well done piece of like GM tool to use for that. And can we talk about what you just made for it as well?
Sure, yeah. Yep. This will be the first time anyone hears about that. So
Weekly Scroll exclusive.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. So after we played the game and after we died and had to reroll characters while we were doing it, Max sent me and Hunter something he made. It is a character generator specifically for Abyss of Hallucinations, which is fantastic. We talked about it. It's great to roll up characters, but right in the middle of an adventure where you could potentially die many times, it's kind of nice to have the dice roller. So it's super great. It's literally everything you need. You just click the button, it even gets starting equipment, everything for all of the 3 classes exclusive to Abyss of Hallucinations. So definitely going to use that next time I die a bunch of times in your games.
Yes, yeah. I'll get that one out to backers probably pretty soon, and that'll be a little surprise coming. So that'll be nice. I definitely am enjoying rolling it up, and I love name generators, so I just keep looking at all the absurd names. But yeah, it was really fun putting that together. And the first one I made was ugly, and it's less ugly now. So
that's good. Yeah, that's progress, baby. We're all getting less ugly every day, you know. So you know, I don't want to give a bunch of stuff away, but like I really enjoyed the character classes that we went over last night. Do you have a favorite, and like can you kind of talk about what your inspiration for it is, if that's cool?
Sure. Yeah, I think I do. So we can give away quite a bit of stuff from Volume 1. That's been out for like a year now, right? So
yeah.
My favorite class, I think, was the Mountaineer. Inspiration for that. So Aleister Crowley was also really into mountain climbing. And this is also, there's that kind of like time period of like Buddhism brought to America, Jack Kerouac, and there's that quote, "You can't fall off a mountain." I just like the idea of like bringing this like Zen Koan approach to like a mountaineer, and like Crowley's just like complete embrace of contradictions. I really enjoy that. Plus Crowley's like, it's appropriative, right? But like taking a lot from, things like yoga. So we've got like the power of pranayama, but then there's also like your skin is hardened. So it was really nice. It was fun to build a character that's really grounded in like this like physicality, but also absurd. Like there's so much fun with like, I think you ended up with the background where it's like you basically were a rich entitled prick who lost your safety net, but this is where you are now. You accidentally have to be a serious mountaineer because you were just doing it very leisurely in the good British fashion. Yeah.
Like a chick teaching yoga in LA. That's how I equate it to.
Yeah, as far our mountaineers both survived and both of our other characters died because there was the it's the child of Pan.
Offspring of Pan, yeah.
Offspring of Pan, and then the Sorcerer of the Left-Hand Path.
Seeker of the Left-Hand Path.
Seeker of the Left-Hand Path, which has got to be the most, like, if I was making a class, I feel like that one where I was like, yep, that's very Aleister Crowley, like, that's very, goes in the book. But then when we get to the Mountaineer, like you said, I was like, oh, this super makes sense in a very, like, discongruent way. Like, you got a goat guy, you got a sorcerer, and then you got a mountaineer with an alpenstock, and it was great. It was great. So this is all from Volume 1,
right?
And this it's called the Cursed Heptagram.
The Unicursal Heptagram. So
Unicursal Heptagram.
The unicursal piece is referencing the unicursal hexagram, which is that like Thelema hexagram from Crowley. But unicursal meaning you can draw it in one stroke, right? So that is but I also just love that it sounds like cursed, right?
It does.
So
it does.
You know what it means for it to sound cool, and I enjoy that. And yes, the heptagram is the 7-point star of Babylon, and it is designed after that.
Awesome. So this is all from Volume 1, but what I have up on the graphic says Volume 2. So we have a second volume out right now that's currently being kickstarted.
We gotta talk about a whole second volume.
Second volume. So what would you like to say about the second volume? What, as far as the setting and all the things you put out for Volume 1, what does Volume 2 kind of add to that?
Yeah, so I knew I was making at least 2 volumes when I started this. So as I was working, I had kind of notes going of like, what is going to be held for Volume 2. So some of the things I already knew when I was working on Volume 1. I was working on this on the side because I'm like, oh, this is a great idea, but it's not quite going to fit. I need to like get the core components you need to play in Volume 1 so people can get started. But then I know I'm going to build up on that, right? So like the Seeker of the Left-Hand Path, you can choose your deity, and you've got 6, I think it was 6 deities to choose from, but I'm adding one more in this Volume 2 so that you'll get access to the Megatherion, which Hunter has at the background there. But so there's a little bit of player-facing stuff. More of the player-facing content is in Volume 1. Volume 2 will have a little bit, but it's going to be a lot more of the GM-facing stuff, and it's going to be kind of fleshing out some more things. Like on the map that Andy Weber illustrated, you'll notice a bunch of locations that weren't named in Volume 1, and you're going to get more names of locations, a little bit of background on those locations in Volume 2. So there's a lot of stuff that people have already, but they just don't have the words for it yet, or the names of things yet. So that will be unpacked, and then I'm going to get into a little bit of starting to get some stuff together to support a hex crawl. So have a little bit of rules and tables for hex crawling through the abyss as well.
We love a good hex crawl. We just fucking I am down for a good fucking hex crawl. That sounds like a blast. So very cool. So you said there was going to be at least 2. So do you have any plans for a third?
I am planning a third, and I do have some content that I've been working on, and I'm like in 2, and I'm like, nope, this one's got to be held for 3. My plan and goal is that 3 will complete the project.
Nice.
I'm starting to get a little nervous that like I'm not going to be able to fit all the stuff I feel like I need to in 3, and I'll push it into 4. But I really want to like try to like make it a
Brian and I are like, well, that sounds fine.
I'll buy it. I'll buy it. Yeah.
I would like for it to end at 3 and feel complete enough. So that's my goal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And you got some pretty cool, you got some pretty cool, as far as the Kickstarter itself goes, you got some pretty cool like add-ons and bigger tiers and things like that. So what beyond the Fuck, and I knew I'm gonna say this for probably 2 more weeks. If I would have unpacked it, I think your box is one of these. That's just like the Max Moon box. There we go. Look how fucking pretty this book is.
Hell yeah.
So, and if you, I can't even like if you hold it up again for one more second, the shine on the white part, just so people understand, like just it, the entire thing, like on the pink is the part that's printed. It's not white with pink printed on it. So it's got this matte shine to it, and it's just, it's gorgeous. But again, you can get more than just the zine on this Kickstarter. What else above and beyond that can you actually get for the Kickstarter that's still running?
Yeah, so there's the shirt with featuring the art from Tom Davis, aka Dark Transmissions, also aka the background hunter there and of the Megatherium with the multiple heads. And man, I love his art so much. I can easily just go down like a Instagram tunnel of just like looking at everything he draws. It is gorgeous and creepy and elegant.
That shirt fucking slaps. Like that is a slappy shirt right there. I am like, I want that so bad.
And then we've also got the other big thing is the box for the zine.
Yeah.
Box. I know this is true for me. I love boxes in general. Also, when I have multiple zines, I want them in a box, but especially if I have ephemera, right? Like I have that dungeon tracker, those loose pieces, the map. It's really nice to have it all in one place. And the art for the box is by Luciana Lupe Vasconcelos, who is another artist I'm just totally obsessed with. I first encountered her work looking at the book The Devil's Supper by Shani Oates, and then coincidentally when I published Dungeon Divinations with Mount Abraxas Press, I didn't know this ahead of time, but he had her doing the artwork for that one, and that I was just like, oh my god, I love this so much. And so it was really exciting when I reached out to her about doing the box art for this, and she was down. Especially because she has so much work depicting Babylon and like thematically relevant. I knew she like understands these sort of like present and spirit of all of this. So
very cool.
There's also one of the things I forget to mention because there's a stretch goal, but we hit the stretch goal is there will be a pamphlet adventure that's risograph printed. And that is The Vaults of Eternity. I have been working on that on the side as well. Very excited about this. I also got to say, like, this project is the reason I'm kind of able to offer all these things this time is because I'm collaborating with Exalted Funeral this go around. So I'm not doing everything myself, which is wonderful. Last time around, I really like killed my hands printing everything. I will still be printing some special editions, and they will still all be screen printed with the inks I get to choose and the paper I get to choose and everything. But it is we are working with a printer for the larger run so we can get more made and people don't have to wait for, I think it was 6 months almost of me being in the fulfillment process and slowly trickling out. So yeah, Exalted Funeral has just been beautiful to work with.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's fucking sick.
Absolutely. I will say I wait longer than 6 months for almost every project I back, so that's not too bad. But to save your hands, though.
6 months was beginning to end, like once fulfillment started. Then 6 months until the last fulfillment was made. It was still a long time before that started.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then in addition, you have a tier, if you want to talk about it, called the False Grimoire.
Yeah, so the False Grimoire, which you know well, I discovered that I am binding the Book of Lies, 2 copies, and this will be a spiritual or a cult practice, as you will, of like for me in that process, making things is so core to my like being in the world and how I like change myself. So I'm very excited about this tier because I'm binding the Book of Lies and I'm binding these 2 differently. So they're each unique, but everything that I do with each of them is going to be related to the other. I'm really thinking a lot about Baphomet and Solovey Coagula and like the like dialectic between opposites and all that as I make these books. Yeah. Is it okay to mention who got one of those?
Who possibly would have been the very first backer of this project and definitely got one of those? I have no idea. Maybe the guy that's into special editions and boxes and all that kind of shit. Yeah. So I definitely backed for one of those. But you know which one I'm hoping to get. I hope, based on how well we know each other. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll add it into my Max Moon box with my Max Moon boxes. But yeah, very, very, very excited for that. And hopefully something like that again for number 3 too.
We will see. I have ideas, but I feel like that's something I should hold off on talking about too much because I'd like to hold that one close.
Of course.
I'm also going to say I have a secret for volume 2, and I'm not going to tell anyone.
Oh,
there is a secret.
People will find it, but
really okay.
Well, I love the am I allowed to talk about some of the secrets from your last project, Fairyland?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was in the Fairyland edition, and again, I really wish, and I apologize, but most of you that listen to the podcast can't see it anyway, so you're welcome. Fairyland had some secret parts in it too, because there were a couple of pages that were foiled within the book itself that you were like, they're in there, you can find them if you want, which were cool, at least in the editions that I got, which were all of them. So I can't remember specifically which one that I got that had the foil on the inside too.
That was the unique Unseelie Court Odious one edition.
Was that just the Odious one? Was that just in that one?
That was
then
just
in
that one.
In the very unique, one-of-a-kind, only one that exists version that I have, it has some additional foiling within that in, like I said, in the Kickstarter description, it's like, there's some cool secrets in here. And I was like, oh, it's these 2 cool pages, and they're gorgeous. That's one of the things I love about making things by hand is that I've also done this occasionally where I'm like about to send a batch off to Igloo Tree and Exalted Funeral, and I'm like, I'm going to toss a secret in here. And so somebody who ordered from that batch got something unique in there. And I don't do this to like promote it. I do it just because I want that to exist. So I love the idea that like you order this one and you ended up getting a unique copy and had no idea that was coming. That's amazing. And the way that you've been your bookbinding process, basically like the hardback book binding process, and like going back on your Instagram and going through the videos is awesome. And the way that from when you started that to now, the books, I mean, they were gorgeous in the beginning, but like the way, like the adding in pages and doing all sorts of stuff, because I don't know if you have it handy, Hunter, I wish I would have pulled it out, but we do have a 12 years exclusive edition, only 2 made.
Yeah, this is like my Bible I keep it in my pillow, yeah, right? You know?
Just for the weekly scroll of 12 years. This is like it's cloth bound, and it's absolutely stunning. And there's been some other ones you put out too, the green ones with like in papers and things like that. Are those going to be available to people? Not those, because there's only 2 of those for us. Are there going to be hardbacks of 12 years, 2nd edition, going to be out?
We will see. I love making them, and one of the things that I've really appreciated is people who have been like, yes, I will pay you to make a book and you make it however you want. And that has just been so sweet and wonderful and gives me that freedom to experiment and practice. And it's been really nice getting back into bookbinding because I did that quite a bit ago. And now it's nice to, I'm like, I have these things that I need to bind. So it's been really good refreshing those skills, growing those skills. I would like to eventually, I made a waiting list because I had a number of people who were contacting me about that. And then I didn't put it out because I just got so busy that I was like, I still have one that I'm working on for somebody that I dropped the cover in glue, and so I had to start the cover over, but the text block is good. And so that one is still in process. I'll get back to that soon. It's a pocket edition hardcover of 12 years.
Nice.
So I've been playing around with different ideas. I eventually, if I can stop having new ideas I'm excited about, that'll give me more time to cool objects I'm excited about, right?
Well, please don't. Please don't, you know.
I just want to do both things, and it sometimes is challenging to manage that time, right? Like I love writing stuff and I love designing stuff. I also love just like physically making objects. So I'm trying to do better about things like working with Exalted Funeral, so I'm not spending as long on things that can easily be replicated and done in a way that I'm really happy with. And I can take a little bit more time and shift that towards some of those things like the False Grimoire, where it's like, yeah, this has got to be something that I got to make with these hands, right?
Dude, that sounds like the False Grimoire sounds so cool. And all I could think of the whole time we were talking about was like, man, if my grandma was alive, dude, she would fucking hate this conversation. Like, well, this is a cult devil shit. You were Satan worshiping piece of shit. I'm like, yeah. So
that's when you know it's the good stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I just ordered a shirt from someone. I think their site name is Crap Factory. It's like a really beautiful like goat shirt, and it says pagan with like as an acronym, and it's people against goodness and normalcy.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm loving his art. I've been looking at it lately, but yeah, that's kind of
funny. I was listening to the Wobblies and Wizards podcast, and he was talking about the Satanic Panic, and he was like, I'd never even heard of D&D, and then I heard of the Satanic Panic. I was like, man, I gotta play this game. And I was like, yeah, that's the guy. So
I definitely lived through some Satanic Panic stuff in the Bible Belt South in Alabama as a kid, so like that for sure has impacted me, and I think it has taught me a lot about the idea that good is often a tool that is used to hurt people.
Yeah.
If it's anything more than that, I don't see it. But
Yep. I think we're all on the same page there.
Yeah, I think we're all really aligned in our, goodness of Christian love,
For all the podcast listeners, we were just like silently nodding our head through the entire thing. So yeah. I remember.
Me and Ryan, we're both from Texas as well.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't claim it, but I was born there. Yep.
Yeah, it's close to home. So
I remember as a kid thinking that tarot cards just looked cool. I was like, the art's great. Can I get a deck? And it ended up as like a meeting with like the preacher and my family telling me all about how I can't have tarot cards because they're evil. And I'm like, oh, I thought they were just cool looking.
No, they were cool cards,
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I've got lots of those. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway. So Abyss of Hallucinations Volume 2, and we were also talking about another, speaking of having too many ideas and projects, another project we talked about the other night. I think I asked if we were allowed to talk about it. Can we talk about that coming project at all?
Yeah. I have been working with Blazing Worlds on a very cool project that's coming soon. So that's going to get more, there'll be more information about that coming. And Blazing Worlds, if folks haven't seen Ekphrastic Beasts, I highly recommend checking that out. I'm thinking my dogs are going crazy. I don't know if that's coming through. They're definitely...
a little bit, just touch, but you're good.
Don't worry about it.
All right. So Blazing Worlds did Ekphrastic Beasts, which is just incredible, phenomenal artists, and then Jonica Stuckey's writing is so rich, so beautiful, and horrific. That Book of Monsters is just incredibly inspirational. And so I'm very excited to be collaborating with Jonica's running Blazing Worlds. We've got a good crew of people working on this project. Black God's Kiss, Peter Bebergirl, who did that Appendix In book. And then I could go through like everybody involved with it. That will all come soon, and everyone is amazing. It's been really a privilege to be working with this group of people. It's going to entail a box set based on the C.L. Moore story, Black God's Kiss, and we're looking at what I'm doing for that is designing a standalone kind of micro game. That's what I'm calling it. It's got some similarities to 12 years, but it's a smaller scope. It's something you can play in a shorter amount of time, and it really is about playing with the story. And then there's going to be, I don't know how much I actually can share about all of this, so I'm going to share a little, and then if I get in trouble, then I'll apologize. But there's also going to be an adventure module that is based on the story that is going to be both for 5e and for Old School Essentials. So I know I'm really excited about playing that, and it'll be, my OSE characters never last long, so I'm sure I'll lose.
Sounds like a good OSE character.
There you go.
One that doesn't last for very long. Dude, honestly, I'm always really impressed with your range, because like 12 years, Fairyland, Abyss of Hallucinations, all very like, I mean, you have an occult side, and then it's more like fae, and now you're entering, you're doing like a swords and sorcery thing as well. I'm like really, I mean, obviously we were just teasing you for overstretching yourself and having too many good ideas. But like, it is really cool to watch one creator like create their version of these like different things, and you do like really, really well at it. Is like the occult more of your entry point into this, or is like the fae more of like your ground level?
So like, I don't necessarily like keep those separate.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about like fairy things, that's a whole world, but it's a really important thing for me, and how I interact with and look at the world, and how I think about what a person is, and what it means to be in the world and a part of the world. I'm kind of like anti-Anthropocene stuff, anthropocentric stuff. I try to like get out of that when I can, and so that for me is what a lot of this is about. And so I do feel like there is a thread through all of it, and it all comes back to me. I really like play, I think, is like the ultimate magical act. And that's why I love bringing both like absurdity, but also things as serious and as like the Book of Lies into like, let's play with this occult stuff that's like esoteric and treat it as anything that is sacred is such a good opportunity to play and blaspheme.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
I'll also add just that Kyle wrote Fairyland, but it was like when he hit me up with like, here's these tables I'm working on for this game I'm playing, I'm like, we have to make this a thing, because this is exactly what I'm talking about with the fairy stuff. And yeah.
That's very cool.
Next time we have you on, because that's probably, I can't imagine this won't be the last time if we're putting out this many fucking banging projects. I'm gonna have to just have like I'll just make a display of all the different Max Moon stuff, and I'll need at least a shelf or more at this point, because you like anyone that knows, I mean, not many people know this about me if you listen to the podcast, but I like special editions of things. I will often get those. So to have a creator who makes such amazing content for the games, but then that hand makes things, and then make special editions of everything, and like you said, like maybe let me just throw in something a little bit special for this person, and I'll do this for that, like has been really cool. I mean, it's the reason I bought, I think, every type of Fairyland, but you also made like 4 or 5 different types for Fairyland, of different types of zines printed differently on different, paper and this and that. And so it's a combination of, I love your projects, I love the way you do different things. You cost me,
Yeah, this last one especially, you know.
Hey, no, we don't need to talk about that. You can look on the Kickstarter to see if you want to know the thing. But regardless of that, I think going forward, I just as I said, as a creator, as a person, something like that, I can't, like, I respect you so much and your work is fantastic. You're such an awesome person. We've been talking offline, getting to play a game with you offline. It was such a great experience.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. Like, that was so, like, I'm glad that we all just got to dick around and drink and just, like, you know, play some fucking absurd Merkborg, like, you know, like you will. And yeah, that was a high quality experience, you know.
Thank you. I had a blast.
Yeah, we got to do it again. Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to. I mean, Abyss of Hallucinations 2 is coming with a pamphlet adventure, right?
Yep. I'm gonna be testing for that. So
you know where we are.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, and if there is anything, I assume we can't talk about it. I don't think there's anything else on the horizon as far as projects. I hope that's enough for you for right now.
There's another thing that I'm involved in on a much smaller scale.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how much I can talk about that, but I know that you all are going to find out about it, and it'll come up when it does. But it's cool, it's fun, and yeah, it'll combine a couple things that yeah.
Okay.
I won't say anything on that.
Yeah. Keep your secrets.
You know what? This is such a vague description, and I already know that I'm gonna buy it.
I'm like, I don't know where we're at with that one, but you'll know it when it shows up. You'll be like, that's the one he was being so vague about.
Awesome.
There we go. All right. Well, so as I said, this is not going to be the last time we have you on. Abyss of Hallucinations Volume 2 is still currently funding. When does that end?
July 20th, I believe that is.
Oh, we still got plenty of time. That's like 10 days.
Yep.
Oh man, you think you'll hit your target?
Yes.
Do we have any stretch goals left in here?
There are no stretch goals left. They have all been taken out. So we got that Megatherian poster, Megatherian sticker, the pamphlet adventure. One of those stretch goals was a bonus for all our artists involved. So really stoked to just be able to bump that pay up a bit.
A new wandering location, the Temple of the Graal, and the Grail. So it's Grail, okay. And the Abyssal Dungeon Generator tables. Thank you.
There we go. Yeah, I always forget the things that aren't physical objects. I forget to mention those. So yeah, the zine is expanding.
And then again, with the backing of Exalted Funeral, with you rocking that Neon Lich Exalted Funeral shirt, that's so fantastic. A dream is to get stuff printed by Exalted Funeral. They're such great people. So it's fantastic. So yeah, so go out there, back Abyss of Hallucinations Volume 2, and all of the add-ons and all of the rest of the stuff, and get everything except the False Grimoire, because you can't, because there's only going to be 2 in the world. But if you... and I get one. If this is your first time hearing about Max Moon, please go back and get their entire catalog. 12 Years is absolutely genius. It's one of our favorite games we've ever read. Fairland is stunning, and all the different things you get for it, since you get some content for, you know, I think 4 to 5 of the best games out there right now: OSC, Merkborg, and a number of others, DCC. And then again, go back Abyss of Hallucinations Volume 1 and 2, 3 when it comes out. And just stay on top of Max Moon's stuff. It's Max. What is your website, Max?
MaxMoonGames.com.
MaxMoonGames.com. Check that out. Thank you so much for being here. This has been absolutely fantastic. Again, this will not be the last time that we're going to have you here on the show. Hunter, you know, I'm not going to stop talking. You want to wrap us up?
Yeah, you know, Max, really great to see you. We both enjoy you as a person and obviously as a creator in the space. Thank you all for listening. This has been a very special, sick as fuck episode of the Adventure of the Weekly Show, brought to you by the Adventure Archive. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Twitter, where Ryan tweets a bunch. The Instagram, we got the links are all which direction is it for me? They're somewhere on here, man. But yeah,
There are not much
Max,
stuff.
once again, thank you. And everyone have a good night.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everybody.